Howdy folks, how are y'all doing? My name is Reese, and welcome back to the Minecraft 2025 Let's Play Adventure, where today we are picking up where we left off yesterday, or where we tried to start yesterday, before everything went awry and we realized we needed to go deal with some pre-existing problems that we had sort of neglected up until that point, and we had to kind of scurry off into the hitherforth, previously unexplored. No, none of that's correct. We had to scoot off to places we'd been before and hadn't properly addressed, by which I mean we had to go to the Nether. We had to move portals. If you watched yesterday's episode, I don't know what I'm rambling about. Today we're back and actually going to do the Deadbool Island, or the Isle of Deadble if you're so inclined, because that's what it says on the map. And the way that we're going to do this is we're going to have 2 or 3, maybe 4, of every type of tree up on this island all at once in their own little zones. They're not going to be interspersed with one another, so there'll be like a couple next to each other and then a couple more and so on and so forth, okay? And I thought about it, and we might do extra of the oak so that we can cover them in vines, and they'll be the swamp oak variety. That's pretty much the only thing separating them, so we just have to go get some vines. That'll be fun. Look at that fella just popping his head up above the water to see what we're doing. What a funny guy. I like him. He's cool. And something else I thought about doing was having this be a sort of nursery or sanctuary for different flower types. So I got to figure out a list of all the flowers in the game, or really all of the different plants, and have 1, 2, 3, 12 of all of those around here too. And I know that there's more varieties in the most recently released version of the game, which is exciting. So we're going to have to update before we do that. But I guess we need to start deciding where we're going to put these trees. And I was thinking down here on this end would be great for the swamp variety. So we're going to hopefully make all of these be smaller trees, and I really don't want them to touch like that. That's going to bother me. You might say I'm being ridiculous, and you're correct, but welcome to my YouTube channel. I get to make those calls, okay? I decide how it can be, not you. So these are going to be our swamp trees. I didn't actually bring vines. I probably should, because we want to see how this is going to look when it's all said and done, which means we need to go ahead and get the vines on there now so we can see what they look like as they grow, because it's going to take a little while for us to plant down the rest of the trees, and maybe it'll be done by then. But let's just grab, I don't know, 64 vines ought to be enough probably to get started with. And then also I did notice I'm running a little low on rockets, so we'll get some more out of the ender chest. I think we have 2 full stacks inside of the, not tools and equipment, but the supply box. In fact, if we look at it, no, they are in tools and equipment. Odd. We're almost complete with our goal of having 3 full chests of gunpowder, which is kind of a silly goal, because then we're going to eventually want to use that gunpowder for stuff. We're going to want to build rockets out of it, and we're going to want to build TNT out of it, so why fill them up? We're just going to have to constantly fill them up. And the idea is that we kind of maintain that much, so that we can use them for big projects. And gosh darn it, I was on top of the tree. I could have gotten started, and I fell off. So let's place these around here like so. Of course, it can spread, which we want to see. That's exactly what we want. We want them to spread. Uh-oh. Heavens! Was not expecting that. I did not know what was damaging me, and for some reason seeing a drowned was shocking. I was trying to figure out what could be in the water. I thought maybe pufferfish. I did not expect drowned. I mean, yes, they're always out here. I'm constantly hunting them in these very waters. I just didn't know they were here right now, so they took me by surprise. That's all I've got to say for myself. Leave me alone. I don't need to be harassed by the likes of you right now. I suppose we might also be putting vines on the jungle trees. Those typically have vines on them, and they might look odd if they don't. I don't know. I guess it's my decision to make there, which is unfortunate, because I hate being responsible for decisions like that. No, I'm kidding. I love it. I live for it. So there we go. There's the swamp trees completed. And then we want to separate those from the next variety of tree. What would be next to a swamp? I'm thinking jungle. Does that make any sense for there to be a jungle next to the swamp? Definitely doesn't make sense for there to be spruce. Am I putting too much thought into this? Probably. Let's plant some of these bad boys, though. Stick one right there. Stick another maybe right there. They're kind of close to one another like that, actually. Hold on. I don't want them to touch. Let's grow this one here and see where it ends up. But I brought bone block because you can't get bone mill back into bones, and I almost brought the bones, but I figured we might as well use this. So that's just like a normal-sized one. I mean, that's fine. I didn't want a super massive one. I'm not... Should we have at least one super massive one? I'm worried it would be so big that would dominate the landscape. We probably shouldn't do that. I don't know. They're so distinctive, though. Would it look weird not having one? I almost feel like the answer to that is yes. It's kind of odd that they decided to do the super massive jungle tree, and they never gave us like a sequoia, you know, or a redwood or anything like that. Big fan of the sequoias. Went on a family vacation once to see the sequoias. A lot of fun. Good time. Fond memories. We went on this huge California trip that also took us to the Grand Canyon, right? Which is not in California. Don't get me started, okay? I don't need your sass in the comments section. But we did this huge route all the way around the western U.S., and saw a lot of really cool sights. Went to Legoland. That was definitely the highlight of the trip. Honestly, that was the purpose of the trip. Me and my brother really wanted to go to Legoland. My dad really wanted to go see things like the Hoover Dam and the Grand Canyon. And my mom really wanted to go see big trees. So one summer, my parents just sat down, plotted out this whole trip to go see everything. And that, to this day, you know, so many years later, remains probably the coolest family vacation I ever... I've gone on other really good family vacations. Don't misunderstand. But that was the coolest. That was the most fun. So I didn't put any vines on here, and I put all the vines on here. And now I'm all out of vines. I could go inside and get more, but what I'll do instead is I'll keep working on this. And as these vines grow, we can clip them and then move them around. I hear you. I see what's happening here. All right, I'm not blind. I'm not taken off guard anymore. Did he drop a... No, he didn't. But yeah, that was a great trip. Big trees, very cool. Highly recommended. If you ever have the opportunity to go look at big trees, go look at them. I'm going to try to grow one here, and if they touch, they touch. Oh, it's perfect. Absolute perfection. I think that can translate cleanly into some acacia, if we grow them right. Okay, and here's my thought on the acacia. Okay, those two can touch, that's fine. That's actually kind of cool that they've grown into one another like that. And then we have a third one maybe right here. We don't have a third one right here. We have a third one maybe up here. Yeah. Okay, so there's our acacias. So we got spruce, cherry, birch, dark oak, and regular oak remaining. I'm thinking right here in the middle, right next to these acacia. Does it make sense to sort of throw down a couple of these? And I had an idea that maybe we could have these be the big uns. You know what I mean? And I think there's a way to sort of cheese getting the big uns, which is that if you build a structure like so around the sapling, it'll always grow a biggin, you know? We'll find out. It might not grow at all. It ain't growing nothing. Bone meal is not something we're ever going to run out of. I'm happy to waste it. I might have done it either too close or too low. I just know for a fact there's a way to cheese this. I just can't remember how. Like that. That's basically how you do it. So we have a big one there, and then a normal sized one next to it. And there's our vanilla oak trees completed. And then I feel like from there, we could pretty easily go into maybe then birch? Nah, yeah, okay, birch. From there we go into birch. That's the decision that's been made here. We could have also just mixed these together, and that might have even looked better if they had been sort of interspersed with one another. Thing is, it's Minecraft, right? So at any point we could decide to redo all of this, and it doesn't have to stay like this. So now we got spruce going down. Okay, there's spruce taken care of. I forgot about pale oak. We do have pale oak that we gotta plant. Yeah, there we go. I think they're... Oh, I forgot. I gotta light all this up. Oh, geez. Yeah, that's important, isn't it? Mr. Creeper, I'm sorry, but I can't permit this. Give me one moment. There we are. Okay, I think we're good. You gotta go down, my guy. I'm sorry. I can't allow you to persist in this perfect world of mine. I'm starting to realize the error of my ways, in that we have so much island left. And I've packed all the trees on this side, and that's okay. We need to have some giant mushrooms too, maybe? I'm thinking? Okay, we gotta cut this one down, though, is the only problem, so that we can get more saplings. Did we ever determine definitively one way or the other whether or not there was any benefit to actually breaking the leaves using the can't make a wife out of a? It seems like... Because we put buffs on it. We put fortune on a hoe here, people, is what we did. Okay, hold on, we're getting some drops. We got 4 of them. But if I just break this and all these leaves shatter, how many are we going to pick up? Yeah, I don't know, folks. Only 3 more from the looks of it? Hold on. Well, that turned into a little fella, didn't it? These trees are so weird and, like, little and stubby looking. I don't get it. And then all I've got left is the cherries now. Which, I mean, maybe we leave some room over here for giant mushrooms, but even then, like, you plant a cherry tree. They're beautiful. They don't take up that much room. And then you have the rest of the island left over? Now, I did have an idea that I'd love some feedback on. But do you know how underneath the island we have the heart of the sea sort of thing? The conduit and all that? I thought about building a sort of artificial tree stump. Heck, we could build like a big tree even, if we wanted to. And having there be a kind of opening in the side of it that you could go into, and it would have the pool that led down to that. I thought that would be kind of cool. Hello, Mr. Dolphin! Hello! What brings you around here? Oh, you handsome creatures. I see, you need help. I'm here to help. Got him! Okay, let's put down some grass, because right now, I think that's going to do a lot to help sort of spice up the landscaping a little bit. We're definitely going to need more bone meal, though. I did not bring enough. I can tell you that right now. Do I have a stack left? No, that was the stack. I got none left. Goodness me. I think right now we're about to turn around and see what we've wrought with our own hands for the first time. It's not... It's I was gonna say it's not bad, and it isn't. But it's also not good either. It's okay. I think we should have mixed the trees together. I think that would have looked so much better if it was a forest of interspersed trees, and we might have to correct that. I'll tell you what. I'll let you feedback. I'll let you feedback. How about that? Comment down below. Should we stay or should we redo that? Should the trees be interspersed? I forgot mangrove. That's good. That's good. That's a couple we can add. They would actually look good down by the swamp ones, because they're swampy. Not that there's a great deal of room left for them, but you know what? What if we just tried to stick one? No, hold on. You know how they kind of grow up with weird, like, roots and everything? That might actually suit, like, growing right here just fine. Maybe I'm off base on that. Let's find out. It's not going to grow here. Hold on. I'm growing grass. Give me a minute. Wait, don't these have to be in, like, a group of 4? Did I just remember that? I think I just remembered that. Maybe it's a made-up fact, but I think that's a real thing. No, that's not real. No, that'll make really big ones. But you only need the one. I'm pretty sure. If you don't want them to be massive especially, you only need the one. If we plant it over here where it's got plenty of room to actually grow, see, yeah, there you go. That would look so much better on the other side of the island where all the swamp trees are. But if we're going to redo it where all the trees are interspersed with one another, then there's no reason not to put the 3 of these over here. And see, now over here, it wouldn't be all that distracting to have a couple of big jungle trees now that I'm looking at it. You know what? Maybe we shouldn't worry about it being a perfectly manicured space, because we are going to treat this area like a bit of a tree farm. You know, if I need a bunch of wood, this is where I'm going to come and cut down certain types of trees. It just doesn't make sense to go to the jungle to cut down a bunch of jungle wood. Well, no. Because there's already a lot there, and I don't have to wait for it to regrow. So maybe we should treat this like a garden. What wins out, practicality or beauty? It's a hard choice to make. A lot of red and yellow flowers around here. It's very distracting. We need other flowers. I also like that idea of having it be a sanctuary for all the different plants. I suppose I shouldn't leave this lying around. It's going to get consumed by grass. I'm going to forget where it is. It's going to come up in a couple of episodes. Guys, what happened? Guys, where's the red shulker? Guys, where's the red shulker box? I'm not going to remember. No one's going to tell me. It'll be funny. Ugh. That's it. I think that does it. Look at this place. It needs a good mowing. It's a little overgrown. It's a little out of control. It's not as it's too orderly right now. I think it looks okay. I like how the trees almost get taller the further you go until they stop and they become fat and then they get tall again. And you see that gap right there in the middle? That's where I'm thinking we're going to do it. That's where I think it's going to happen, folks. That is where we're going to build our artificial tree with a big fake canopy. It's going to be beautiful. We'll do that in the future. Maybe not next time. Who knows what we're going to do next time. I know of one thing I'm going to go do right now, though. The expansion of the Isle of Deadble is complete. Thank you folks for watching. I'll see you later. Goodbye.